Welcome back to our Super Tuesday coverage. We are joined now live from Miami by Senator Marco Rubio. Senator, good evening. Nice to have you with us tonight.
Good evening.
You have so far have no wins in your column tonight. Are you disheartened?
No, of course not. First of all, let's understand where we are in this campaign. We're still in the proportional phase. That means these states are awarding delegates on the basis of the percentage of votes you get. We're going to have a significant number of delegates out of every state tonight. In fact, in the state of Virginia, a state we were trailing by 15 points in the last polls that were taken, we basically have as many delegates as Donald Trump has at the end of the night. Minnesota's still out, and we're doing well there in the early returns. We feel good about it. So usually in a traditional race, when you have someone like Donald Trump in the lead in some of these states, you would have everybody coming back together and saying, all right, it's time for everyone to get out and rally around the front runner. What's happening is the opposite. On the contrary, people are saying you have to fight on because what's at stake is the soul of the Republican Party. And I ask people to join us at marcorubio.com. We cannot allow the Republican Party to be led by someone who refuses, for example, to condemn the KKK. As
Senator, you went after Donald Trump very hard this week, and a lot of it, frankly, was schoolyard things, spray tans and the size of hands. Do you think voters rejected that? Do you think that worked against you?
No, first of all, Donald Trump has been insulting people for the last 12 months. Every now and then someone who does that deserves to get a taste of their own medicine. But second, I would say to you, look at every state tonight that's on the board. He will underperform every public poll that was taken, especially, for example, in Virginia. I'd say he was ahead of us by 15 points. No one even expected that to be competitive. We've only had 5 days now to explain to people what a con artist Donald Trump is. Already seeing the impact across the country. I can't wait to make the case for the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Again, on Monday, there's voting going on in America. And then again the following week on March 15th, where then you do have to start winning states, winner take all. And that's where we feel great. Tonight was supposed to be Ted Cruz's night. It was supposed to be the night that he swept all these southern states, the most conservative part of the country. He leaves tonight with a win in Texas and doesn't take all the delegates, and a win in the neighboring state of Oklahoma, and he doesn't take all the delegates. Tonight, I never said we were going to win or close out this campaign on Super Tuesday. Ted Cruz did. I can tell you our best states are yet to come, including my home state here of Florida, 2 weeks from tonight.
Senator Rubio, Chuck Todd here. Math is your challenge at this point. Has your campaign come to the assessment that there's only two outcomes here for you? Either you don't catch Donald Trump and he becomes the nominee, or you have to take this all the way to the convention. There does not seem to be a mathematical path for you to clinch the nomination before Cleveland. Have you come to that conclusion? That if you do this, you have to go all the way to Cleveland?
No, I don't believe that. I think especially once you get to the winner-take-all phase, the map gets a lot friendlier for us, and especially as the race narrows down. I mean, look, if a couple people weren't on the ballot, we would have won Virginia tonight, and I think a couple other states as well. So we feel real good as we get into March 15th about that. I think the question is, how does Donald Trump get to 1,237 delegates? As you know, Chuck, usually in these campaigns, you have a front runner, and the party says, all right, let's rally around John McCain or Mitt Romney. That's not going to happen with Donald Trump. No one is going to call for us to get behind him. They know that the nomination of Donald Trump means the end of the modern conservative movement and the end of the modern Republican Party in a very devastating way. We cannot nominate someone in our party who, in addition to being a con artist and sharing all these opinions with the Democrats on Planned Parenthood and Israel and you name it, someone who this week repeatedly refused to condemn the Ku Klux Klan. That means devastation in November. A vote for Donald Trump now is a vote in November.
Senator Rubio, it's Savannah Guthrie in New York. Ted Cruz was just speaking, and he said to those who haven't won any states, by which I think he's referring to you among others, I wish you would prayerfully think about getting out of the race and uniting to try to stop Donald Trump. Obviously, that is not your plan, but how do you argue that you're not just an agent of the nomination of Donald Trump if this party continues to be divided with all of these candidates?
Yeah, I understand Ted's spin on this, but here's my answer to that. Ted was supposed to clean up tonight. His entire campaign was built on winning Iowa, South Carolina, and sweeping the southern states, and tonight was the night that he was going to claim victory. That didn't happen. Ted Cruz basically won his home state, where he's not going to get the majority of delegates, or he's not going to get all the delegates, and he won the neighboring state of Oklahoma, where he's going to have to share delegates, and that's it. And where does he win from here? I mean, that's the question Ted has to ask. Ted can't unify the Republican Party, and he most certainly can't grow it. I'm the only one in this race that consistently beats Hillary Clinton in every poll. I'm the only one that has a chance to unite the Republican Party, and the map only gets worse for Ted Cruz from here on out. Tonight was supposed to be the night. You guys have heard his campaign say that repeatedly. They were going to sweep the southern states. He basically got beat in every single one of them except his own home state and the neighboring state of Oklahoma, and that's it.
All right.
On the other hand, you look at a state like Virginia, that's indicative of the broader country in many ways, and we basically have tied Donald Trump there, and that's despite having to share the ballot at this point with 4 or 5 other candidates.
Senator Marco Rubio, thank you so much for taking some time with us. We do appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.